We all have some mental blocks every once in a while, some like limiting beliefs where we think, gosh, I don't think I am the kind of person that plays fast. If somebody just says that, I mean, their future is sealed, right? So you gotta be able to understand what goes on in your minds, because there's always stuff going on in your minds, and you're gonna be able to use that in your advantage and be aware of that and say, look at this. I am actually having a limiting belief right now. I think that, but you know what? I'm also not asking you to play, like, to imagine like you are gonna be playing like upside down, floating in the gravity. No, we're gonna stay on Earth, okay? We're gonna stay on Earth. But what you can do, I guarantee you that what you can do is much, much, way more than what you believe you can right now. What you are able to do is much, much above what you think you can do. And you just don't know about it. And I want to make sure you know about it. Why? Because I wanted to get there, and I also want you to understand yourself, because understanding yourself is how you get there. Understanding what blockages sometimes we have. What is the limiting factor? What in your technique is really not working and you think it is? And this, it's going to be very interesting for you to realize. You're going to be open-minded, but at the same time internally validated. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You're doing this for yourself. You're not waiting from other people to fix you. You are fixing yourself. Other people can just help you and show you the way, but you are the person who can actually do it, right? And remember that action is what makes us better. Not listening, not just, passively enjoying something. It's action. It's doing the exercise. It's writing down when I ask you to. It's actually getting the guitar and playing when I ask you to. So we gotta be doing these things, all right? And through my new system that you can find on my website, it's gonna blow your mind, because the lessons stay recorded. I share with you a score, a piece of music with yellow dots. Each yellow dot is a goal for you to achieve, and each yellow dot has a video attached to it of me demonstrating it. If not, sometimes sharing my screen with you playing on it in slow motion and saying, look at this micro movement over here. You moved the elbow, but you forgot the hand. I mean, things like that are gonna keep coming and coming, and you're gonna be able to see, wow, how could I not see this in my own playing? It takes somebody else to see what we can't see. We all have blind spots. When you're driving and you look at your mirror, there is a blind spot. You're not going to be able to see. You need somebody to tell you. Or you got to move your body. But figuratively speaking, this doesn't work on the guitar, because feedback is the most valuable thing that you can acquire. Information is available, right? I'm making the information available for you right now. It's available. You can find lots and lots of information for free. But what you can't find is feedback. Feedback based on experience. Feedback based on trial and error, on trying things out, falling down, picking yourself up and say, oh, there is another way. And by the way, this is how innovation is created. Innovation is created by challenges. And I invite you to accept the challenges that come your way, and together we're going to innovate your playing to make it work for you. Because the way that X is supposed to play is not the way Y is supposed to play. Every person is different. Work with me on the specifics, on a specific piece, on a specific passage, fingering. What type of fingering you're going to use for this piece? What type of dynamics you're going to be using, what type of interpretation, or how you're going to improvise over this chord change that seems a little bit too tricky, or how you can get speeds when you try by yourself but you can't. Sometimes you're missing something that you can't see it, because we all have blind spots. And that's another advantage of my new system over the outdated Zoom lessons that people do, because in the Zoom lesson you play and it's gone. You don't remember what you're supposed to do. You remember the general terms. But with me, the lessons are recorded there. And not like blah, blah, blah lessons. Lessons to the point. I'm showing you the yellow dots exactly where you need to improve on the score or tablature. And the yellow dot, when you click at it, a video is going to open and it's going to show you exactly what you need to do, your goal. Your goal for next week is to achieve X, to do this, to fix this problem. And we're going to go this, fixing one problem at a time and making progress. With feedback of your own playing, because you are going to send me a video in a very easy way, a very easy process. You're going to use an app that I'm going to guide you through the steps of installing, and it's super, super easy, even if you don't know anything about technology. You know, I teach mostly for retirees, for people who are not really the most technological people. And you can see their testimonials. They love the system because it gives them the flexibility, it gives them the ability to record at any time. It gives them the ability to really access the lessons at any time. It gives them the ability to keep, themselves clear on the goals that they have to achieve, instead of just small talks in the lesson, talking about the weather, looking out the window, asking about, well, what did you have for lunch today? I mean, this is not guitar improvements. Guitar improvements is, what do I need to do next? What is the next step? Just one step. What is the next step for me? The thing that if I decide to do, it's going to make the most important change in my playing. And this is the type of thing that we work on. Of course, we talk as well about the weather, but not in a synchronous way, because I send these messages on the same day or one day later, but you still have this communication. But it's more focused. It's more focused. There is no conflicts with appointments. If you have a medical appointment, you don't need to cancel the lesson. You can just send it to me another time, and I can send it to you later as well. And this way, I'm more also active. I'm not reactive in the lesson, like listening to you and say, okay, let me right now tell something. No, I think a lot about it because you're important to me. I don't want to be reactive towards you. I want to be actively thinking about what is best for you. If from all the things we could do, if there is just one thing this person can do to get better, what would that thing be? And this is where my expertise comes in. I'm very good at synthesizing things, at organizing, at making sure that every person understands concepts, no matter what the background is. So, long story short, contact me to learn more about this 101 lesson. And this is going to be a super amazing way for you to share your journey with me, and for me to share my experience with you on the things that matter to you. Your psychology is the most powerful tool that you have. The way that your mind works, the way that you motivate yourself, the way that you know what to do, you know how to do, you know why you do it, you know how to pick yourself up when you fall. You are internally validated. You have nothing to prove to anybody. You are responsible for your own journey. This is the kind of lesson that keeps making us go forwards and face all the challenges, because believe me, they will come. There will be some days where you're going to be playing and you're going to be like, gosh, this is not working. I'm about to give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. I was about to give up many, many years as well. And I found within myself and with the teachers that I studied with, the tools necessary to make good use of those situations and actually make myself better because of them. One example, I used to think my hands were small, and they are very tiny, compared to my face. If I put it on the guitar, I mean, it's very, very tiny. And my teacher told me, give me a few years and you're never going to complain about your hand again, right? And I believed him. Because when there is a challenge, there is always a way. There is always a way that you can use that in order to create something. And I remember one of those days that I was coming back from the university. I used to take 2 buses to go back to my home every single day. I used to spend 5 hours inside of the bus. This was in Brazil, right, by the way. And I remember one of those days it was raining and I was about to give up. After just entering the university and facing the challenges that we all face, asking, am I good enough? Am I going to be able to actually play at the level that I want to play? And I was about to give up, but then I started to draw certain things. I drew a picture of the hands, and I started to analyze the fourth line, the physics of it and everything. And that was the beginning, actually, of Pathways to Guitar Excellence. But it didn't come to fruition until many years later when I was already in the US. When I was studying my master's over here. And then from all that experience of almost giving up, there was the birth of something that would help so many people. So enjoy this program. It's my gift to you. I wish you the best, and let's begin.
My name's Scott Jones, and I've been with Eduardo for about 5.5, maybe 6 years now. So I'm kind of an old school kind of guy. I've been playing for a lot of years, and my guitar playing just really wasn't getting to where I thought it should, or wished it would. And I thought, I just have no talent. Nor did I find myself working very hard at it. I was just kind of going through the motions after a while. And when Eduardo came out with the system, I was kind of a doubter. I said, hey, what happened to the Socratic method? And teachers getting together and asking questions and giving answers and doing that one-on-one sort of instruction. I thought, that was the only way to learn something. And then it hit me after trying it for a while that Socrates didn't have technology. I think he would have supported the system because it doesn't work much differently. It just works, I think, with more efficiency. What was happening, and I think happens in all lessons, is first of all, you got to drive over there. Then you got to get tuned up, then you got to get warmed up, then you got to maybe replace your strings, then you got to talk for a while about, how the weather is, how the dog is, all that stuff. And pretty soon, and he's not quite sure what he's going to see, and you're not quite sure what you're going to play. And I really think that out of the 1 hour lesson, you get about 30 minutes of efficiency, right? Then you got to drive all the way home and, start practicing probably the next day because you're exhausted from this kind of lengthy process that was really only 30 minutes of effective quality time. So here's how it works now. I find my practice time has gone up by a factor of 3 because I prepare for the lessons and I also have Eduardo's input for the entire week. So let me tell you how that works. You submit your submission every week. You work really, really hard to do that because it's on tape and it's like a performance. It doesn't have to be a performance. In some weeks, it may just be practice and a few questions, but I always find that I'm trying to hit, the highest level of quality that I can to submit. So you spend a long time putting that video together, and it's really an accomplishment. Finally, one week I think I took 14 takes. Then you submit it, right? So that in itself was beneficial. You get back within a few hours a point-by-point video from Eduardo, maybe a dozen or more little vignettes on every little thing that you need to work on and whatever it was that you submitted, that score or maybe it's just scales, but in my case it's a score. And just I know that it took him longer than an hour to put that together, right? So already you've expanded your 1 hour lesson, which was really only effectively 30 minutes, into an hour and a half of very meaningful exchange. Just going through the video takes another half an hour to 45 minutes. And it's very, very interesting because it's all about you. It's not like some tape you just got from a world-class guitarist who does, one tape for all 40 students. It's geared toward your week and your submission. In fact, what I do now, and here's another real value, every night you can go back through that lesson. And it's always meaningful because there's so much content in what Eduardo will give you that it'll take you all week to get through it in a very meaningful way, right? And repetition's fine too. So I find myself going through the lesson 4 or 5 times a week. So it's really 4 or 5 lessons for the price of one. And it's almost like every time you do it, it's like a new lesson because you may have missed something. You can't do that with a regular one-on-one lesson where there's no record of it. And what happens with your regular lesson, right? You spend that meaningful 30 minutes, you go home, you start practicing, and around about 3 days later, you go, now, what did he say about this particular bar chord? And you start deviating, and things start going off trail. And by the end of the week, you're off down a whole nother road, and you've got new problems because you couldn't really remember what the instruction was. Well, with Eduardo's system, you just go back and look at the tape. And you can do that again every night. I do it routinely before I make my next submission, so that I make sure that I've really put together everything that he was looking for. The system will enable you and encourage you and make you enjoy doing that. It actually makes you enjoy practice. So a couple of other things about Eduardo that I think makes this system work really well. Eduardo, like a lot of great guitarists, really cares about his students. And he's very, very talented, not just as a guitarist, we know that, but he's very talented at helping you develop processes and techniques to help your problems. And he drills that into, or he folds that into every video vignette he gives you each week, right? That'll be in there for you. But as an example, on a higher level, when I came to him, when it was 5 or 6 years ago, I really had, one thing I was struggling with, and it was like a lot of guitarists, I couldn't sight read very well. It was really a problem, and I, fessed up on that, and he said, well, we're all having a little bit of a problem with that. He said, let's work together and figure out something we can do to help you improve your sight reading. And we did that, and I spent 15 minutes a day at the beginning of every practice session with this process and technique that he developed for me. And it took some time for him to do that. And after about a year, I found that I could sight read as well as anyone. I think Eduardo will confirm that. And now, what does that do? Well, great. Now I can look at a score in a very collegial way with another guitarist or with Eduardo. And, I can actually read it and talk about it and recognize the chords and the key modulations and changes. And I can have, it just has, really increased the value of what I do as a guitarist and a student. There is one thing that I have to say I kind of miss. It's fun going to the studio. And, around about the holidays, Melissa is really a really fun cook. And there are always these great cookies around, around the holidays when we're in the studio. And so I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen, next winter when we're not in the studio and Melissa's making cookies. I don't know. That's got me a little bit concerned. Anyway, there it is. Hey, good luck with your guitar playing. And by the way, I think the system probably works with anyone at any level. If you were just wishing to play chords around the fire with your friends, I think it'll probably work there. And it probably works for someone who's at a concert level as well. So good luck with your guitar playing. Enjoy it. This will take, I guarantee you, give it a month or two, it will take the drudgery out of your practice time and make you enjoy practice. It's like Eduardo sitting there with you all week in your practice, having those great exchanges that you had one-on-one. So again, good luck and give it a shot.
My name is Sonja, and I've been taking lessons with Eduardo for a couple of years. I am still working full-time, and I'm 65 years old, so Eduardo's new method of giving lessons is proof that you can teach an old dog new tricks. Anyway, the thing I've appreciated about Eduardo's lessons all along is his efficiency in teaching and how to make your practice most efficient, because I don't have a lot of time. And then now with his new method of doing our lessons, of sending in a recording each week, it's even better because I'm not locked into a particular time for a lesson, and we don't waste any time. He just is able to zero in on all the problem areas, and he gives specific instruction for each one of those things. And the nice thing about it is that I have a reference for the week that I can play over and over, watching him and looking at the music, and it's way better. So I'm trying to convince my cello teacher to adopt the same method. Anyway, I find it extremely valuable and productive, and I'm enjoying it. And I thought I would miss the personal one-on-one time with Eduardo, but he makes it very personal in the directions that he sends back, and so I don't really feel like I've missed out on that, and that's been important to me. So that's my take on Eduardo's new teaching method. I love it.
Hello, my name is Mark. I reside in Naples, Florida. Very, very lucky to have met Eduardo. He is just an incredible teacher. I can tell you this, the best thing that ever happened to me was meeting Eduardo. The system that Eduardo has created here is excellent. Face-to-face lessons. You can leave that lesson and you might not gather or recall all the points that your instructor told you, but with this system, what works for me is that I can go back and reference any point in the piece, and I don't have to guess on what I'm supposed to be doing, so I can prepare for the next week's lesson on that particular piece. I'm proud to say that with Eduardo's help, I've recorded now 4 videos, and I've been able to share them with all my friends, my family. You have to trust the system, and I believe that if you follow the system diligently and practice as much as you can accomplish a lot with guitar through Eduardo's help. When I was working with my old instructor, I was kind of just going through pieces, but I wasn't really perfecting them. I wasn't, performing them. So it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna learn the notes of this piece, but it's beyond learning the notes of the piece. I mean, you have to really just dissect the piece, and Eduardo is very good at getting you to do that. So I think it's just a fabulous system, and I think Eduardo is a fabulous teacher, and I am so grateful that I met him.
I just want to let everyone know that Eduardo has really set my guitar journey off on the right foot. He's patient, he's wise, he's understanding, and he really helps you achieve your goal. So he's been helping me write and work on my own music and has made guitar so much more exciting and fun than it already was. So I highly recommend you guys take lessons and start off the right way.
Yeah, I think I was very skeptical of this video format at first, as you know, because we talked about it for a really long time. But even just being able to reference, like I said, your words rather than watching you play, I'm pretty well sold on this. I think you've turned a doubter into a believer, to put it dramatically. Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this and taking, the time to take me as your student. So I look forward to next week. Thanks.
My personal experience with Eduardo's guitar system is that I really think that it's the most optimal way to learn guitar, because I feel like it's like a master class that's personalized to you, for like whatever playing level you're at. It's like it's basically like, for me, it feels like it's step by step on how to keep progressing, on how to get better, even with pieces that are like really hard. So for me, I think that it's been super helpful, and it has for sure made my playing a lot better.
I've been playing guitar, took lessons when I was a kid. I'm 60 years old. I've been playing for over 50 years. I've been playing classical guitar since I was in high school. I was self-taught. I had a lot of bad habits. I didn't take it very seriously. I could fake my way through it. And about 6-7 years ago, I got more serious about playing classical guitar, and I was spending a lot of time learning pieces, and there were still areas where technically I was not very good and had bad form, and you've been fixing all that. In the last 2 years, I started practicing with you and taking private lessons for the last 2 years plus, and then in January when you made the change to the video lessons and the way you critique now, I was a little hesitant at first. I'm a convert. I love it. The thing I like about it is I don't have to remember what you told me at your house 5 days ago. It's all in the video that you send back to me, as well as the music is highlighted, and it gives me specific areas to practice, which, as you know, I'm not a fan of practicing. I like playing, but practicing has always been hard for me. but I will say, since I've been doing this now since January, a full 5 going on 6 months, I have noticed a big difference. I'm more motivated to practice because I can see my progress. When I'm feeling a little down or like I'm not getting anywhere, I just look back at some of my old recordings that I sent to you, and I go, wow, I really am getting better. I just got to work some more. So that's very encouraging. I like it when you send videos back, or the clips that I send in, you send them back with showing me how to do it correctly. So instead of having my hand like this or just all jacked up, I've got it, you show me where to do it, and it's much easier to replicate that, seeing you do it and then showing me videos of how I'm not doing it so good. Thanks for all you're doing. This is the best way if you want to be serious about practicing and getting better, more efficiently, quicker. You still got to do the work. It's just, you still got to do the practice, but practicing inefficiently just makes more work on top of it. So I can see I'm getting better, and I'm getting better faster, and I'm finding, which is the most surprising part, I'm more motivated to practice, which I never have been in the last 50 years.
I started guitar lessons with Eduardo about 5 weeks ago. And my experience has been so surprising and so wonderful. I have learned so much in 5 weeks, and I have progressed so much further than I ever thought imaginable. I had come back to guitar after maybe 30, 40 years of having set it down. I had studied it when I was a young girl a little bit in college, and then boom, let it go. And I had the impulse to go back to it, and I kept reaching out to different teachers, but it didn't stick. And I had a lot of frustration trying to find the right teacher. And since I've been working with Eduardo, I've been just like, oh my gosh, I found the right teacher. His method is so innovative and skillful. This business of taking a video and having him give very precise feedback about specific things that you can work on, and then those little small chunks are your areas of focus for the following week, and it keeps it so enjoyable because you really can make progress in these small little chunks without rushing the process, without having to feel like you have to be perfect, and it helps you really just relax into the playing and also, feel successful, like you really do make progress. And he's so encouraging and so just delightful to work with. So I really just highly recommend working with him. This method, I think, should be patented. I really think it's a brilliant teaching method. And for me, it's made all the difference. So I'm having fun with it and falling back in love with the guitar. So give it a whirl.